This episode of the Sunday Night Talk is up and ready. Sunday night is here. We just finished Halloween. We're on to November. The season is halfway done. Me and Omar got thoughts. What a weird week in the NFL. What a day for the underdogs. A lot of upsets. Well, not the Jets, of course. But other teams did win. Great games around the league. We discuss, we ask questions, we go off topic, as usual. And of course, we give out the awards of the week. This week's theme, along with underdogs, well, dogs in general, a dog-oriented awards theme with a hybrid election-themed awards. Hey, I put 2 in 1 there. It can happen. Me and Omar discuss NFL Week 8. Some likes, some dislikes. My team won. His team lost. We talk about it. Hey, if you're new to the YouTube channel, check out Running It Back. That is my other show. And this last week, I did a special Halloween movie edition with me and my own brother, Andrew Ramirez. 3 movies. It was entitled The Good, The Bad, and the 80s. It was a lot of fun. Go check it out. But right now, the Sunday Night Talk is happening. Buckle up. Me and Omar right now. All right, here we are. Sunday night, recording this 8:30 West Coast time. Eagles, Cowboys just finished Sunday Night Football. The battle for first place in the NFC East.
First place of what?
Eagles won. That's a good question. Carmona with me. No beard.
No beard today.
When did you shave the beard?
Thursday.
Oh,
I
really?
heard that because of COVID, El Paso was going to go into a lockdown mode. So I ran out and had somebody shave my beard before they shut everything down.
Oh, so you had somebody do it, like a professional do it for you?
Yeah.
Really? What do they do?
Nothing. They just shave it off.
And it was some clippers?
Well, see, I've never shaved a beard before because that was my first beard. So I thought I needed like something special, and it took them like, $30 to do it for like a minute and a half.
Did they do the straight razor shave on you?
No, it's one of the electric ones. And
what?
Yeah,
why did you go to someone to do that?
I didn't know. I don't know beard protocol.
It's my first beard.
It was my first beard.
Well, look, I'm glad you got it in before our hometown El Paso went into lockdown and we can't get our beard shaved.
What are we gonna do?
Oh, it's been a crazy year. What are you gonna do? Hey, looking at this Sunday, it was kind of a weird Sunday in games. I think I was struggling for storylines and for angles, but this Sunday was oddly fun.
It was a strange Sunday. A lot of, bottom feeders, I guess. They pulled off some big wins. I can think off top of my head. Vikings over the Packers. We got the Bengals over the Titans, and then we got Dolphins got a big win. So
there was three underdog wins. It was kind of exciting to see. And then we had 2 underdogs going head to head Sunday night. How do you pick who was the favorite in this game? Do we even bother picking a favorite for Dallas Eagles? And then the weirdest thing is it's for first place in the division.
Vegas gave the Cowboys 11 points. So it was also an overwhelming favorite. The Eagles were. So,
Well, 11 points, then Eagles covered, right? I think it was 20-something to 23-9. So they covered. Wow, Vegas, The house was correct.
Yeah, you read that spread, you think that's they're totally going to miss the boat, but hey, they saw something there.
Well, the Eagles win. They're in command of the NFC East. Is there any reason to believe the Eagles are a team to be reckoned with in the coming
No,
weeks?
at some point, I mean, even if you're first in that mediocre division, at some point, if you're the Eagles, you got to start thinking, are we better off without Carson Wentz? He just seems more of a liability. He's not, not going through his reads, bad throws. He's taking a lot of sacks and a lot of hits. So at what point do you say, hey, look, we got a young quarterback, Jalen Hurts, on the bench? At what point do you put him in?
Yeah, you were texting me that. I was sort of surprised. I didn't even consider the idea of benching Wentz. And then I was thinking like, well, who do they go with? And then I thought, oh yeah, they're putting Hurts in for these little wildcat plays. And then right then Collinsworth or Al Michael says like, when are they going to let Hurts throw the ball? He
Right.
never throws it. He just does kind of runs and options. So maybe it's to consider, although they're in first place, but I haven't thought, how far are we removed from Carson Wentz being the MVP talk from a couple years ago? This has been a hard slide.
That seems like a long time ago, but
Yeah, rough. Like he looks good. He just makes all the bad decisions. He looks like a quarterback. He just
right.
makes all the bad decisions. What were your thoughts on Ben DiNucci? The Ben DiNucci era has started in Dallas.
It can't finish soon enough. I'm sure if you're a Cowboys fan, yeah, I'll tell you, it did not look good. He went 19 of 37, 163 yards, no interceptions, but no, just didn't really put any consistent driving the ball down the field type series. So not very good. It's, I mean, it is an offense that looks lost without Dak Prescott.
Did you have any thought that fumble where Dallas is sort of driving and we're thinking, I think I texted you, hey, this is kind of a good game. And then he fumbles it and then they run it back and get a touchdown. Did you have any thought that was offsides and it should have been?
That was the first thing I thought. His helmet was clearly over the line. So the Eagles got away with one there.
I thought so too. I was like, oh, he's offsides. That's free play. Doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
And it totally swung the game and all the air was out of the balloon at that point. I got to give it to NBC though. They did a great job of hyping this game. When it was starting up, they have all the graphics are like battle for first place. Somebody's got to win. And then at one point, DiNucci comes in to take his first series. And Al Michael says, this kid's got moxie. I'm like, what are you basing this on, Al Michael?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
And then I think the 59-yard field goal at the end of the first half, Cowboys were acting like they just won a playoff game. and they're cheering. Mike McCarthy is clapping super hard. And then I think it's Collinsworth who says, this game is crazy. Yeah. You got to give it to them. They really hyped the game. They really sold the game.
Yeah, for sure.
A weak Sunday night offering, but I think the announcers, NBC, brought their A game to it, and then it all fell apart halfway through the fourth quarter.
Well, speaking of, what game did you watch today?
Yeah, on to your game, my game. You want me to start off?
Go for it.
Okay, I really hate to start off with talking about how your team lost today. I watched San Fran at Seattle, 37-27. San Fran loses. They're 4-4. Seattle goes 6-1. I'm just gonna give this game a title. Seattle wins. Garoppolo leaves. That's if I'm gonna write a book report on this game. I'm watching it and I think everybody's in love with Seattle. They're so in love with Seattle that they're talking about DJ Metcalf's play from last week still. They're still talking about him running back the interceptor guy. Here's his stats: 12 receptions, 161 yards, 2 TDs. When's the last time a receiver won the MVP? Can a receiver win the MVP? No, he's awesome.
Well, he's awesome, but he's not going to win an MVP if Russell Wilson's the one throwing him the football. Right. Russell Wilson's team, and again, I think Russell Wilson after this week even made some more, created a little more space between himself and the rest of the field. So I do think that at this point in the season where we just finished, we're finishing up week 8. I think at this point in the year, he is arguably, with Mahomes, but the top player in the NFL.
Yeah, they give San Francisco gives them a game, and then they just sort of hit overdrive
Right.
in the last quarter,
You
and
know,
they just sort of pull away from them.
But you got to think, it's San Francisco's just been hit by that injury bug. I mean,
and then they lose two more guys today. Garoppolo goes out.
Kittle,
and
Kittle
was the other one who leaves
maybe
the game.
the best tight end in the league, arguably, and I think he is. But people are just dropping like flies here for the 49ers. And look, Jimmy Garoppolo has not been good, and he has fallen well short of all expectations. But he didn't have to be great to make the Super Bowl last year. But what the 49ers counted on was depth, defense. But when you lose your top defenders, and we're all dropping like flies, and at the skill positions, more injuries. It's again, I've said this to you. It's not a Super Bowl hangover when you don't have a shot because of the injuries. So, but Garoppolo, again, I think long term, the 49ers are getting to that point where they have to start asking themselves, long term, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to get us to the Super Bowl again and win it?
That was my next question. How sold at his height? How sold were you on Garoppolo? I never was fully sold on him being the guy. He always, maybe it's just his look. He always looks like he's thinking about something dumb. He just has that look on his face, he's never serious. And then I'm sort of halfway convinced that he wasn't even hurt today. And he was just like, fuck it, I'm out.
It may have been. But
how sold were you on him?
I will say I was all in when it happened. You like to think that the quarterback that comes in learning under Tom Brady, first few years of his career, and then learning under Bill Belichick's tutelage, that sounds like greatness, but it just hasn't worked out that way. And and don't get me wrong, he came in and he started off on a huge hot streak. That guy just caught fire. But then got hurt, and it just seems like he's been more of a game manager as he was last year. But now it's just even worse than it was last year.
Yeah, and he never throws down the field, it seems. It seems like he goes for he's like check down city, and he never really tests anything deep. No. And I think the defense has figured him out by now. I also like how, the San Francisco backup QB comes in. The announcer always has to talk up a backup QB when they come in. They always tell him like, oh, he's seen the field really well. They did it with DiNucci too. Yeah, Collinsworth is like, his mind is slowing down now. He's playing 2.5 quarters.
Collinsworth said that with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He says he's starting to see things. And you're like, we've been playing for 55 minutes. I hope so.
I love Collinsworth. He's such a glass half full type of announcer. He always gives them the benefit of the doubt. It's like, the game is really slowing down for him. That was a great ball. He's throwing like 5-yard checkdowns to it. I don't know if you caught, because this game was on Fox, the promo for the January lineup for 2 shows. You have 911 and 911 Lone Star. I purposely did not look up either of these shows because I want to guess what the difference is between the two. But these are 2 different shows that Fox is promoting. 911 and 911 Lone Star. I'm guessing one of them is in Texas, but that's it. That's all I can some decipher from this Fox promo. 911 Lone Star. Also,
yeah. I didn't catch him.
No, they don't come out till January. You have time. You have time to get into 911 and 911 Lone Star. Yeah. Also, the game ends, and they're gonna go to Chicago, New Orleans, which is in overtime. So they're gonna, we got extra coverage. And as the game's ending, I think it's Chris Myers who's announcing the San Fran game. He apologizes. He goes, "We're going over to Chicago. Sorry, this game wasn't more competitive." He was apologizing for a bad game. I've never seen that before. I liked it. It was like, he almost should have said like, we're going to try and do better next time. Jimmy G's in the locker room. He's already texting people.
Yeah,
sorry, go to Chicago.
It is on that one.
What was your game that you watched?
Real interesting. another NFC West team who's been playing well as of late. The LA Rams travel to the Miami Dolphins for Tua Tagovailoa's debut. I had to watch. I'm very intrigued by this pick. Obviously, as we know that Tua, went down last year in college, had a real bad injury. And some people, they don't recover from, hip injuries. Bo Jackson also had the same type of injury that cost him his career. But Tua comes out, and you know what? Obviously, the first drive didn't go well. He turned the ball over, but he settled down. Now, he wasn't great. Okay, he wasn't great. The numbers weren't gaudy. The plays weren't flashy. But let me tell you, he got the job done. He started playing smart football, safe passes, didn't cough the ball up after that. So it wasn't bad. And then the hallmark of a franchise quarterback is, do you make the guys around you better? Special teams stepped up. Defense stepped up.
Helping out too.
Oh, so when you got a team that rallies around their rookie quarterback like that, and they all stepped up in every position, every level, you like that. And so you hope that, and then I'd much rather see a win than I would gaudy all-star Pro Bowl type numbers. You know what I mean? And the fact that he got a win is going to be on his debut so great for his confidence moving forward. So I think I like what the Dolphins did today, 28-17, and it really wasn't much of a game. I mean, going into the half, it was 28-10. I mean, it was over. I mean, the Rams couldn't get anything going, and the Dolphins did. So I was really impressed. Look out, the Dolphins are 4-3. And then all of a sudden with the Patriots down on a down year, and Bills, they've been stumbling as of late, haven't been great. They got to win today, but who knows? The AFC East may be up for grabs.
Yeah, we're halfway through the season. This is always kind of the part where you have to sort of figure, all right, what's the storyline? Who's going up? Who's going down? Dolphins could very well be on a little bit of a hot streak, a little bit of a streak, got right. Some life injected there. I watched that game too. I was interested to see Tua's debut. You're right. He starts with a strip sack.
Right.
And he settles in. He's throwing short passes. They're complete, but he's looking all right. So here's my question. What's the best way a first start can go? A first drive, a first half? What's the best way it would go? Because you could go, he lights him up on fire. That never happens. You're like, oh, he gets sacked. Okay, that's bad. Like a first start, I would say, let's just.
I'd say the best thing you could hope for is anything better than a no turnover, non 3-and-out drive. Maybe move the chains once or twice. That's about as good as it's going to get. Only because, these players coming in are so overwhelmed by the game speed of the NFL. Just I think moving the chains a couple times, that's just great. That alone is great for your confidence.
That's a good ideal start. Move the chains once in your first series. Also, a couple details I found out about it. First off, who are your favorite left-hander quarterbacks
of all time?
Yeah. Give me a top three. Give me a podium.
I'm going to be biased, that, but my number one's got to be Steve Young.
Steve Young, because of the Niners affiliation, he gets your number one, huh?
Well, but he was he was one of the greatest lefties of all time. There's no doubt about that. Another lefty that I've always, I'm going to go back when I was a little kid. I loved watching him play, Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, he's got an underrated left-handed rocket arm.
Loved Boomer. Loved Boomer Esiason. My third, I don't know. Give me some names. I can't think of one offhand that really stands out.
Two that you didn't say were off the top of my head. Michael Vick.
Vick. Yeah.
Stabler. Kenny Stabler.
Stabler. Yep.
I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm gonna go with Vick on that one. I should have thought Vick, but that's right.
He's my favorite. Just the throw coming out of his hand was always so sharp. Okay, here's what I found out. I don't know if this is not true or not. Tua is right-handed, but his father taught him to throw the ball left-handed.
That's crazy.
So I don't. So Tua would write with his right hand, but he throws with his left hand. Are we to believe that? I don't. I just saw an article. I don't know if it's true or not.
I heard something like that, but I don't know much about that story.
Yeah, I read it there. I need to find out more. I need a picture of him writing his name or something to see what hand he writes with. But he throws left-handed, obviously. And then that led me to, I forgot this left-handed QB, maybe for good reason. Todd Marinovich was a left-handed QB, and he had the crazy coach dad who made him left-handed also. So I got a little spidey sense that we might have dad issues here for Tua. All right, I'm watching the games. Okay, there's a play where they do the little, the QB does the little shovel pass.
Got it.
Here's my question that has plagued me for years. Is it a shovel pass, a shuttle pass, or a shuffle pass? What is it? Do we know?
It's a shovel, isn't it?
Well, that's what it sounds like to me, but I swear I've heard it shuttle and shuffle. I don't know what it is. It could be all three.
The only the shuttle I can think of, shuffle I can think of is the Icky Shuffle. We had the we had the Super Bowl shuffle, the '85 Bears. I can't think of a shuffle pass, and I've never heard the shuttle before.
No, you haven't? I swear I've heard all three. Never. Well, the shovel sounds accurate because it sounds like it describes it the best, like you would be shoveling dirt. So I think shovel sounds correct. Shuttle, I don't know what about shuttle. Shuffle, you could talk me into shuffle. It sounds cool. Also have in on my notes while I'm watching the game, Goff, bad. That's all I wrote for my notes.
Goff was bad. He was, and his numbers too.
What's going on with him? He's bad.
He's inconsistent. He can be great, okay, but it's tough. It is tough.
Also, I also like the early games when they just bombard you with all the food choices you can buy throughout the day. What would be your favorite food for Sunday football watching?
I'm a pizza and wings guy if it were up to me. You know what commercials always do it for me? The Pizza Hut.
Yeah, I was going to say the Pizza Hut has heavy commercials going right now.
I love Pizza Hut commercials, and they always get me feeling like pizza.
I like pizza. Wings is a good one. Sneaky third choice, fried chicken. Bucket of fried chicken. You know what's good about pizza, I think, or anything small like that, is you already know you're going to overeat. So if you just overeat in small pieces throughout the course of 5 hours, it doesn't feel as bad. So I think pizza is a good one for football Sunday.
For sure. You know what gets me though? We can go back. The beer commercials. I don't know I always feel like a beer. Football is just made for beer.
Yeah. There's one commercial that, it's Pepsi. It says Pepsi made for football. I'm watching like, how's Pepsi made for football? You got to give it to them.
The beer sport.
You got to give it to them. Football, yeah, pizza. The food of choice is pizza. We learned golf is bad, and Tua might be right-handed. How long till we learn every so often QBs sort of add something to their game with the running QB, Mahomes with the no-look passes.
Oh, he had 2 or 3 passes today that were just mind-blowing. How can you run at full speed one direction and then with pinpoint accuracy do an underhanded throw? I mean, like a softball pitch throw, but at the same time lead your receiver to the opposite direction where you're going, because the entire defense was shifting to the right, and he's at full speed and just flips it, and then next thing you know, the tight end's taking it left. Crazy.
Well, yeah, it seems they have so much in their arsenal now, and I'm thinking, how much longer till a QB can throw with both hands? We can have a right-handed and a left-handed QB.
So what do
Like
you think?
what?
I mean, you played quarterback. I mean, what do you think? Just like maybe over your head, just kind of like rocket, or like
No, I say someone can just throw the ball regular right-handed and left-handed. It's happened in baseball with a baseball pitcher every now and again where the pitcher is ambidextrous. But how long till a QB can do it? I've seen players sort of do it for fun where they throw with their non-dominant hand, and it's if it's a pro, I mean it's a bullet. But what if they learn so much that they could throw with both hands? You know, in
oh,
soccer, players can kick with right and left legs. Batting, we see a lot of batters right. I think it's just a matter of training yourself
we'll
to
see,
learn
man.
how to do it.
That'd be
Maybe
good.
that's the generation after.
That would be.
Let's go on to the other games where a bunch of underdogs won. Start off with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, which was really the matchup of the week.
Right, it really was. But Pittsburgh just finds a way to win. They find a way to win. And you know what? I'm he's not having the same caliber type season he did last year, but Lamar Jackson's not as untouchable as he was last year. And it
Yeah,
looks like
here's his stat line.
yeah,
13 of 28, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles, 2 of which he lost. So kind of an up and down stat, but I think he was the threat of the game. He has that critical fumble at the end where they're going in and then he fumbles the ball. They put the ball in his hands and he fumbles it. So I mean, this game they could have easily still won. Baltimore,
right.
I don't think Pittsburgh was the dominant team. So Pittsburgh 6-0. How it wasn't that long ago that we were having the is Roethlisberger done conversation, and now here he is 6-0.
He is, but you know what? I'm not saying they're winning despite him. That's not it. But he hasn't been great, you know? But the thing is, he does have a lot of weapons, okay? But his defense is really, really stepping up. I mean, that's a good Pittsburgh. I think it's a very solid defense. And so I think they with this many offensive weapons that they have, you know, who do you cover there? You know, Juju Smith-Schuster, Claypool, Washington, Ebron. I mean, just so many Connor, so many guys you can go to. So I like what Pittsburgh's doing. Again, they're going to be a real tough out come January.
6-0. They're so good. They're shot out of a cannon this season. They're beating everybody. This was a big win. They performed. Also like that Pittsburgh is on natural grass. I get a little field turfed out sometimes.
It's good. It's true.
Or sorry, it was in Baltimore. Baltimore is natural.
It was in Baltimore, right? It was in Baltimore.
Yeah. It was in the Rams game where the Rams punter is so good. He punts it, and on the field turf, it bounces, and it bounces 10 feet in the air straight up.
Hecker's great. Best punter in the league.
Good. He's figured it out, and I don't think you can do that as well on the grass. You know, the other game I watched, LA Chargers at Denver, battle of the 2 and 4s.
Yeah.
And in true Chargers fashion, they're up like 14 points, and they let Denver back in and they win the game.
Again,
it's so crazy.
I'm not going to throw it all on Justin Herbert. I mean, part of it is saying, hey, man, you got to close these games out when it's all said and done. But wow, but it seems like the Chargers are just letting everyone, even the games they win, they're up big and they let them back in. So this is a big concern. This is a big concern with the Chargers. Since the early Phillip Rivers years, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they always let the other team back in. I think it's on their game board. Like let the other team back in, and just whatever players they draft or whatever, they do the same thing. Justin Herbert had the opposite game of Tua. He's got the big stats, and they end up losing.
You know, I will say this though. Let me tell you. You know what's getting me excited is that there is a crop of young quarterbacks that are coming out that I think it's going to make the NFL a lot more exciting. You know, the last 20 years, we can think back the big quarterback rivalries. We had obviously Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and then in there came out, Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers, but you're talking about those big four, and really no one else is in that conversation. I think you'd agree with me, right? But it seems like I think in about 3-4 years, we're going to have a lot of guys in that conversation. We're going to have, your Kyler Murray, we're going to have Justin Herbert, maybe Tua. I'd love Joe Burrow. We have a Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. So again, it just seems like a lot of good young quarterbacks that, it kind of makes me feel nostalgic and reminiscent of, when we were a lot younger. We had Marino, Elway, Cunningham, Moon, Montana, a bunch of good quarterbacks. And I'm starting to see that same pattern. So hopefully these young quarterbacks can, keep it going.
Yeah, that's true. You rattled off a bunch. And if you think about it, say what would you say if 3/4 of the teams in the league all have franchise quarterbacks? That would be unheard of right now.
That'd be incredible. I mean,
but back in the day, that's what it was. That's true.
Right. Yeah, great quarterbacks.
Yeah, now it's probably 1/3 of the leagues have a franchise guy. Yeah, so much talent coming out. It makes me wish Herbert could win a game. But in the same young quarterback fashion, Denver has this young guy, Drew Lock, and I swear this guy simultaneously looks like the most scared person in the world versus the guy having the most fun in the world. He's dancing on the field, and he has the most scared look on his face. And that last drive, I didn't understand this drive. He doesn't throw a pass over 15 yards. It's all underneath, and yet they drive the whole field against the Chargers, and they win the game. That game was just the battle of 2 and 4 has just confused the hell out of me.
It is. Ooh.
Along the same kind of blowing it at the end, New England Buffalo. Cam Newton is fumbling the ball at the very end. They were going to go in. They were going to make a game.
That he should not have fumbled that ball. Okay, the bottom line is.
What do you mean? He shouldn't have? The ball shouldn't have been in his hands, or he was careless?
No. I mean, he's got to protect the football. Okay, just bad play. You got to hold. You can't fumble in that situation. But my gosh, he is playing his top 5 receivers for the game are all undrafted wide receivers. Okay, I mean, that's gonna catch up to you at some point.
Yeah, I didn't like that they put the ball in his hands that late. I thought they were asking for trouble. So
sure.
Yeah, so 4 straight losses for New England.
They got to get. There's some concern there. There's some concern there.
Yeah, there's got to be. New Orleans, Chicago. Fun game. Great. We had a fun fight.
Fun fight.
In the middle of the game.
It was a fun fight. It was a sucker punch. My understanding is this DB from the Saints, Gardner Smith, apparently he'd been jawing and he'd been poking eyes, and it just looks like this young receiver, Javon Wims, he was over it, and he took things into his own hands, and it cost him the game as he was ejected. So got to use your head. Referees are going to eject you 99 out of 100 times when that happens. So
he did he gives the dude a couple of sucker punches, but the other guy doesn't even flinch. He gave him the Terminator reaction where they put the cigar out on him and he doesn't even react.
That tells you this Gardner Smith, that DB, he must be a stone cold trash talker and agitator, because he did not throw a punch, which he got sucker punched twice. You get hit in the head, and he stayed pretty cool.
Oh, I can see the memes now. They just didn't even flinch. Took 2 right to the helmet, which it always confuses me when players hit another player in the helmet.
Right.
It's like he's wearing a helmet already.
I mean, you hear quarterbacks break their hand or fingers on when their throwing hand hits a helmet on the follow through, and so you would think that it's probably not a good idea to hit the helmet.
Yeah, whenever they take a swing at the helmet too, they do it open hand. They never make a fist because they just instinctually know. So they just kind of give this hard slap. But they have a helmet on. It doesn't make any sense. But
it may be extreme, but next time, why don't you try a throat punch? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you were to throw a punch to someone in their full NFL uniform, Where would you throw the punch? The head is out because they're covered.
You could either do a throat or you'd have to do a sidearm Charlie horse.
Oh, where to? Oh, to like their arm? What about their upper arm?
Right there.
Ooh, that's good. That's
and
good.
I think that would cause probably even more fights.
Yeah. Side of the leg would be good too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only parts that still aren't protected in the NFL. Yeah, get smart, people who are starting fights in the NFL. Don't swing at their heads.
Or if you just want to go, the old Bill Romanowski, just spit in their face.
Spitting needs to come back. This isn't the year for it, but it could be a viable weapon.
I think you'd probably be suspended for the entire year.
Oh my God, you would get the worst punishment if you spit at someone this year. Spitting. Wow. You're like, dude, that guy's crazy. He spits on people. The thing with the Chicago game is it's so funny. These games were so offense friendly. Chicago is down 10 points with 3 minutes to go. They tie it up. No problem. Tie it right up. No lead is safe anymore.
I'm listening. I need a refill.
Okay, go ahead. While you refill, I can go on my diatribe of Las Vegas gets back on track against the Cleveland Browns. The total grinded out game, not high passing numbers, couple runs, grinded out turnovers. But the best thing about Vegas beating Cleveland is Gruden wore this big ass jacket and he's totally covered his gut now. I think he figured it out.
But did that not remind you of the old Art Shell big, the old black jacket that the old Raiders coach Art Shell used to travel? I mean, it just seemed like one of those 90s starters jackets he was wearing, and maybe the Raiders
can get. I remember starters jackets. That was big. I remember the satin jacket.
Proline. And what was the other one? There was another one
that made jackets. I don't remember a third one. I remember Proline and starter, but do you remember the satin jacket? This was maybe 80s, and that was a popular sideline look. And in the sweater, there was the Tom Flores team sweater.
Marv Levy
would wear sometimes.
Bill, and Parcells. So at first they came out in big print letters, and then someone got fancy and put them in cursive.
Yes. And then Ditka, of course, had the sweater vest.
Right.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Gruden had this, what I would describe as a parka. I'm going to have to look into it some more, see what exactly he was wearing. But I like that he had a big jacket on. That shirt he was wearing tucked in.
How about that win? I don't think I had ever seen a field goal miss the way that first field goal. Was it the Raiders kicker?
Yeah, I think the Raiders miss one where he shoots it like a golf shot really far right, hoping it blows left. And it does, but it blows it too far left and he hits the upright.
Right, yeah. And so that was insane weather, but it's that, it's that Lake Erie wind that comes off, that goes right into that stadium there in Cleveland. And that was an ugly game, but Raiders came out with a big win. And let's see what happens with the Browns. It looks like the Steelers are going to be running away with this division.
Before we get to the questions of the week, here's an offshoot question. It's November 1st. What city would you most want to be? Your choices: Seattle, Miami, or Denver. You can base this off of anything: teams, weather, attractions, COVID protocol, whatever you want. November 1st, you got to choose one city.
I'm going to go with Denver. And I'm going to say this because I don't want to get political. I know this isn't a political show, but I don't know what the hell happens in Florida. It just seems like there's just a bunch of nutcases living over there.
I see.
Seattle, obviously, again, I don't want to get Seattle just had a rough time in the media, these last several months with, it just seemed like a rough place to live, and all this, the police, or, you wanted to fund the police, or you want to protest, whatever. It just seems a little
You want to start your own society? It can all happen in Seattle.
But I like Denver. I mean, if you want to take a drive up to the mountains, Colorado Springs isn't too far, and I mean, I've been up there. Colorado Springs is beautiful. Um, I know you're more outdoorsy, and you'd probably be biking, up the mountains. Not me. I'm more of a let me have a cigar and a scotch and look at the mountains from a nice deck. Um, but I think I'd rather be Denver.
I was thinking you go in Denver. You know the funny thing with Seattle, you brought up with the craziest app in Seattle where the people started their own society
There you
with
go.
no police and no leaders. I like the no leader approach, and I'm thinking this is a great idea right up until you have to order a pizza. The second you have to order a pizza, someone has to take goddamn charge because it's gonna be like, all right, what pepperoni? All right, half. Olives, no. Somebody has to take charge when you're ordering a pizza, and it's never going to work in a leaderless society. So,
and I will say and another problem that I have with Miami, everyone seems to be in great shape, and I'm not. So I don't need to feel self-conscious about the way I look in a bathing suit, Miami Beach. It just gets a little too big time for me.
I'm thinking I'm the same with you as Miami is my third because where we grew up in the Southwest and then I live on the West Coast, Florida is a mystery to me. Florida is just a big question mark. I don't know what goes on there. Sometimes it looks fun. Sometimes it looks chaotic. So I don't know what goes on. As far as I know, it could be a different country. So I go Florida third. Denver, I give second, mainly because November, you don't know what the weather's going to happen in the Mountain West. It could be brutal cold or it could be 65 degrees. You're playing a dangerous game. But I choose Seattle because I have been to Seattle during these months, and it's pretty awesome. Seattle or the Pacific Northwest in general is kind of like a forest created a civilization. It's awesome. You got trees everywhere. You're outside of the city easily if you want. They've got lots of stuff going on. I've always liked the Pacific Northwest, just a handful of times I've been there. It looks like a forest, and then there's a huge lake there. So, and you're always crossing bridges over water. It's cool. It's kind of a mystery land.
You know what? To be fair to Seattle, I've never been up there, so one day.
Oh yeah, it's great. I've been there like maybe 5 times for like recreation, for work, and I always have a good time. People are nice. Okay, you ready for some questions?
Let's do it.
Question number 1: panic alert for the Patriots and the Rams? Question mark.
Panic alert.
Let me change it real quick. Who's got the bigger panic alert right now?
Rams. Patriots really shouldn't be panicking. They just don't have the weapons. Okay, so I don't think their expectations are Super Bowl this year. In previous years when they have Tom Brady there and they got a stout defense, it's Super Bowl or bust in New England. And again, I always think that Bill Belichick in his mind is always playing for a Super Bowl, which is what makes him so great. But I just think that this year the expectations are a little more tempered, and so it is not time. There really is no panic situation for the Patriots. Now the Rams, on the other hand, I don't even think right now they're the second best team in that division. I think the Cardinals are a better team. So you got to panic a little more, and then you lose the way you did to a team that had a rookie quarterback making his debut. So I think more panic alert for the Rams. How about you?
Rams by a little bit. I think the Patriots, they're just going to have to tell themselves, we're taking a year off. We've had so much success. A year off is expected at some point. So, and the Rams, they should be better. They just should be better. And they're not. They find a way to sort of be in these games and lose them. So a little more panic for the Rams.
It's funny you mentioned just those two teams, but I got some other teams I think should even be panicking more than the Rams. And I think we talked about this morning. Green Bay. I mean, you talk about Minnesota, but Green Bay, should they be panicking? I mean, Minnesota comes in at 1-5 and they come out with a win.
Well, that leads into my next question. Why does Minnesota do this to us every
I
year?
don't know. I mean,
Every year we write off Minnesota, and then they get good and they make a quality win, and then we have to consider them for the next couple weeks.
you know what? But I think more so that this game gave you some more insight into Green Bay's weaknesses. Dalvin Cook just ran all over the Packers today. 4 touchdowns, three on the ground, 150-yard, just a little screen pass, and he takes it to the house. I think Green Bay's got bigger issues right now, and I think their panic button needs to be a little higher. Minnesota played them well. And what was the other team? The Titans. They need to be panicking. I mean,
that was another underdog win. Yeah,
the Bengals flat out kicked their asses. I mean, flat out. So they need to be panicking too. We had all these high hopes, and they start off undefeated, but now they've lost 2 in a row. And where are they at right now?
one of the teams is going to make a slide. Like one of the good teams is going to take a lot. So it's going to be someone. They're not going to keep winning.
I think I'm thinking it may be the Packers. I could be wrong. They got 49ers this Thursday. Obviously that game was a rematch of the NFC Championship last year. Obviously, I don't think it's as good a game, but if I'm the Packers, I'm panicking a little more than anyone else in the league right now.
Next question. When do we have to have the Philip Rivers conversation?
About is it time to hang it up?
No, was he good?
Oh, so I think he was good. It's like, wow, I would have want to hang it up right now. He played excellent.
Is Philip Rivers good? Is Indianapolis a threat now? I have their record somewhere here. I think they're 5-1, 5-2.
Are they 5-2?
I have it somewhere. Hold on. But yeah, they're all Philip Rivers is good.
They're 5-2.
Is Philip Rivers good?
He's good, and he's a leader. 41-21 today. Outplayed Matt Stafford. Got the win, and he had some good passes. He's good. I don't know. I think the Colts can win that division. It's going to come down to them and the Titans. And then we just talked about the Titans kind of, are they panicking because they've dropped 2 straight? I'm not worried about the Texans. I'm obviously not worried about the Jaguars. So, these Colts Titans games that come up, these divisional games, they're going to be huge games. And so we'll see, we'll see what the winning team will definitely earn their spot in the playoffs and have a home game in January.
Philip Rivers just confuses me so much every year. Every year we write him off, and then we have to talk about him again. Where are you right now? Question number 4. Right now, Garoppolo, are you in or out?
I'm out.
You're out. Why?
It just seems like, and I'm giving him some pass, very little. The fact that, a lot of his players are injured and he doesn't have that defense he can rely on to get him to get him out of a bind. But, he's also made some pretty horrendous throws. And you're kind of sitting there scratching your head wondering what the hell was he thinking? So I'm out because I'm just seeing a little too much of that.
He got sort of injured and he goes to the sideline and he's limping around and no one's around him. Like he's just doing it on his own. Like no one's checking on him. And his expression, like I said, he always looks like he's thinking about something dumb.
And it's funny because remember when he got that big deal from the Niners, then he gets with that porn star out in LA, and I'm thinking, you don't want to be.
Where's your head at, Garoppolo? Well, where's your main?
You're the face of the franchise. It's not illegal what he was doing. It's not unethical what he was doing. But come on, you don't want to be seen with a porn star. If you're the GM and if you're the owner that just paid him a lot of money, you don't want to see your guy with a porn star.
Who was the I'm going to make a Garoppolo comparison. Who was the actress in Cheers who was the bar owner first before Kirstie Alley? What was her name?
Shelley Long.
Shelley Long. Garoppolo might be the Shelley Long of the NFL. He came out hot. I think Shelley Long was on Cheers for 2 seasons.
No, I think she was 3. I think she was 3.
So she was the it girl, and she's like, "So long, Cheers. I'm off to the movies now." And that was Garoppolo. He goes to San Fran with the big contract. Couple of bombs of a movie later, he's got the big head. We don't even know him. Look, I already forgot Sally Fields' name. Wait, what? Shelley Long. Sorry,
Shelley Long.
I call her Sally Fields. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always unconvinced on Garoppolo. I never heard him speak either. It feels like I've never even heard him say words.
No, it's time. It may be time. You know what I'm thinking? Maybe the best plan for the Niners is, look, Kyle Shanahan has a history with Matt Ryan. Obviously, the Falcons are, I think, at the point now where they're going to have to split from Matt Ryan. I think if you bring a really young quarterback, listen, hear me out here. You bring 2 quarterbacks. Listen to this. It's going to be crazy. You bring 2 quarterbacks in next year.
Ooh, I like this.
You get Sam Darnold out of that miserable franchise of the New York Jets. And you bring in a guy like Matt Ryan to maybe tutor a little bit, because Sam Darnold hasn't had that tutor. Okay, he hasn't had that mentor. He's in that god-awful franchise there in New York. It would be nice to see. I think Sam Darnold just thrown to the Lions way too early, and I do not think he's a bad quarterback. I just think
you're saying the Niners get Sam Darnold and Matt Ryan?
It's going to be crazy.
And Matt Ryan is his backup or his quarterback coach or something? Something
like that.
Huh.
You'd also have to get Matt Ryan to agree to do it for like $50,000 a year, which I don't think is going to happen. But
what is it? Was it teacher salary?
Exactly.
That's interesting. I didn't say I hated it. I just said it was interesting.
Bottom line is, I joke about Darnold because I think he's got some real talent. But I think bringing in a young quarterback, maybe through the draft, or just maybe even to Nick Mullins, because Nick Mullins has got some, he's shown some pretty impressive things. But you bring in a guy like Matt Ryan to tutor this guy and show him how to play in Kyle Shanahan's system. I would love to see Matt Ryan a 49er next year.
And would you say bringing in some young guy would be good, but the young guy has to have moxie, like Al Michaels would put it?
Yeah.
Here's one last question. The CBS Sunday night movie tonight is Star Trek Beyond. What's your favorite Star Trek movie?
I'm going to have to go with Empire Strikes Back.
What? That's not a Star Trek movie. Get out of here.
How
could you, Carmona?
Pat,
I like this new Carmona, this 2-beer Carmona.
But don't you think that there are Star Wars people and then there are Star Trek people?
Definitely. I would agree.
I'm not a Star Trek person. I gotta be honest with you. If I've seen Star Trek movies, it's been like maybe on TNT, and those movies.
You've never seen a Star Trek movie.
Where those movies on TNT that are in your life that you've seen them on TNT, but you've also like maybe missed the beginning, or you missed the end, and you think
I call that. Yeah, I have a name for that. I call that the fugitive theory. Every time the fugitive is on, you start it from wherever it is, and your ass is staying put till that show's over. The fugitive theory.
For me, that movie Scarface, I will watch it no matter where it is. I'll just watch it, and I'll get my fix. But Star Trek's one of those movies are just movies that I never got into. I'm a Star Wars guy. I think you are too. Am I wrong?
Star Wars over Star Trek for sure, but I've seen Star Trek movies.
I haven't.
And I'm kind of an outsider, so if I were to meet a real Star Trek fan, then I would ask him like, "Hey, what's the best Star Trek movie?" Because my favorite is the Undiscovered Country. I think it's the 4th or 5th one in the series, and by this point, it's almost a victory lap for Star Trek. They're talking about retiring the Enterprise, and they're like, one last mission and stuff like that. So I love the Undiscovered Country when they sort of have this little battle with retirement.
I will tell you, my only experience with Star Trek was when I was growing up, and I'd be at spending it at my grandma's house, and obviously, I'm at, I had one of those grandmas where you had like 4 channels. There were 7 channels total. 3 were in Spanish. You have, CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox, and PBS, and that's it.
Mhm.
I will say before Kimmel, long before Kimmel, ABC they would do the nightly news, your local news. They would do Nightline, right? And then it was like Star Wars: The Next Generation.
Oh, Star Trek: The Next Generation. Right,
I'm
right.
sorry, I'm sorry. Star Trek: The Next
Yeah,
Generation.
the whole TV series totally passed me by. I knew the
That was
names,
see, and
never watched it.
that's probably
Deep Space Nine, remember that one?
yeah.
Never watched it.
I never watched that. But the Next Generation, was it Captain Jean-Luc Picard? Jean-Luc Picard. That was probably my only experience into Star Trek.
Really? I go Undiscovered Country. It's a fun movie. It ties the sort of genre up in a nice bow. And honorable mention, First Contact. That's a fun Star Trek movie as well.
You know what? We're in a pandemic. Let me get into Star Trek and get back to you maybe this week.
Okay, I would be curious to see your pick. There's a couple of them on Netflix. And you gotta the one I don't like, or I think is overrated, is the one where Spock talks to whales. That one is very 80s like, and I think at some point he drives a truck. Never did it for me. I think my mom took me to see it in theaters too.
Let me see if I can get into it, but I have one of those jailbroken Fire Sticks, so I'm pretty sure I have all of them.
Okay, we'll do a Star Trek update next week.
Excellent.
Okay, awards this week. The theme for the awards, this is kind of a hybrid. We had a lot of underdogs win this week, except for the Jets, of course. But we have the election on Tuesday. So I sort of went with a hybrid dog/voting award series.
I like
so
it.
For the first one, this one is the Best in Show award. And I give this one to Pittsburgh. They came out and showed their best. They got the big win. Best in Show, Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's very hard to argue against the Steelers. And if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm not terribly confident about that game, especially because, come January, these games where home field advantage, I don't think it's going to mean as much, playing in an empty stadium in Pittsburgh is going to be, I think, the same playing in an empty stadium in Kansas City.
What about weather? Do you consider weather at all? It's cold in those places.
Both of them. So I think they're both going to be prepared. I think they're going to have the same edge. I'm going to go with the Best in Show because I think they're slowly separating themselves from the rest of the NFC. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. And wearing this 49ers hat, you see that 49ers throw pillow behind me. There's Joe Montana on, the other side over there. It pains me to say, but I think they are definitely the class of the NFC. So I think they're my Best in Show right now.
Just off the top of my head, what if we end up with a rematch Seattle-Pittsburgh Super Bowl?
Oh,
remember that Super Bowl from a few years ago? It wasn't. I don't think it was a good Super Bowl, was it? I'm vaguely.
No, I think it started off well. I think that's the one where that tight end Jeremy Stevens needs someone in the nuts.
Right. There was something where some player has just a horrendous game. That might have been it. Yeah, so maybe they can redeem themselves as a Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah, so we'll see that. Definitely see. But I think the Best in Show right now is the Seattle Seahawks, and I hate to say that.
Okay. Next award. Best Trainer Award. This award goes to Tua's dad for making him left-handed.
That's a good one.
Give it to Tua's dad. The best dog breeders. Put out the best looking dogs. I think Tua's dad has put out the best possible product, right? Making his own son left-handed. Best Trainer Award.
I like that. I really do. That's impressive. But I'm gonna go with someone who didn't play today but plays tomorrow, and it is whoever Tom Brady is getting trained by these days. Is it that Guerrero? I think it's that Guerrero guy that runs the TB12 that he's been controversial
Oh yeah.
in the past. But Tom Brady, the numbers are getting a little bit gaudy again. And I think that tomorrow is going to be another chance for him to put up some huge numbers against and we're going to talk about the game tomorrow, but against a Giants defense that just really has no punch. So I'm going to go with the best trainer award, definitely Guerrero, TB12, Tom Brady.
TB12 trainer, not bad. I forgot about him. Okay, next award. Wins the popular vote award. Russell Wilson for me. The NFL loves Russell Wilson. The only thing he can do more is seriously serve soup to homeless people during a game at this point. He should serve soup to homeless people on the sideline.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you on this one because
popular vote award, yeah.
What we've seen in recent memory is we've seen the popular vote as the winner doesn't necessarily win the whole thing,
Yeah.
And we definitely saw that last year. And I hate to say it, don't want to get political. We may see that again this year. But I'm gonna go Russell Wilson too because he and Patrick Mahomes, I'm sorry. They're just nice guys. Everybody loves them. The NFL's rooting for them. But definitely it's going to be Russell Wilson. He's definitely the popular vote, but he may not win the big prize, and that I think is fitting.
Who do you think would win the electoral college votes of quarterback? If I'm just thinking,
it's going to be Mahomes.
Oh, okay. So Russell wins the popular vote, electoral college votes. Mahomes, you think? I was gonna say like Roethlisberger would win the electoral college because he's gonna win all the swing states. He's gonna win all the Bible belts. He's gonna win the blue collar votes. He's that guy. I would say he wins the electoral college.
Who would you say is the candidate who is the least liked? I mean, he's so polarizing, and I got one in mind.
QB or just guy in the NFL?
For anybody, but it's going to probably be a QB. Aaron Rodgers. It just seems like people don't like this guy.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he's not friends with anybody on the team.
No.
Okay, that's a good one. I was going to say off the top of my head, Antonio Brown has got to be the least liked character.
He's the Kanye of presidential
That's true. He's Kanye. Yeah. We should have made our own ballot. We should have made our NFL ballot is what we should have done.
Well, give Kanye's spot to Antonio Brown.
Definitely. When does he come back? Not this week, but next week?
He comes back next week.
Okay, interesting.
Very interesting. And so we'll see how this goes. They're going to have some fun. They're going to have some fun in Tampa Bay.
Brady loves him. Brady secretly loves, not secretly. I mean, he's down for Antonio Brown, signing 1-year contracts.
And you wonder last year if it wasn't for what came out with his ex or baby mama, whatever it is.
They would have kept him, right?
They would have kept him. And I just think that it wasn't necessarily that he, Antonio Brown found his way out of Oakland at the time. He found his way out of Oakland because he was just being a jerk, right? But I think that the Patriots would have probably kept him. I don't think they had a problem with him in their locker room. I'm not saying any other locker room. I'm saying in the New England locker room.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a team whose owner, stopped to get a hand job before, an AFC championship match, But so I just think that Tom Brady's confident that AB will be on his best behavior and isn't going to let any outside distractions deter what the team's trying to do.
Yeah, well, we saw it last year. They're like, we'll sign you for 1 year, and then when it gets too crazy, we'll just dump you. Yeah. It doesn't hurt them in the salary or anything. They're like, hey, we're already doing. Plus, they're already doing okay. They're already in contention. We're just adding a hired gun to sort of like maybe we can make 2 or 3 extra good plays a game. And if you get too nuts, We'll just dump you.
And I want you to think about this. When New England lost to Tennessee last year I think it was the divisional round, was it not?
Yeah.
You know, the big knock on New England, that team that lost, was that maybe Tom Brady was short one target, to get that win.
That is true. If he had stayed around, that could have been an interesting second half.
Could have been an interesting, absolutely.
That's true. I added one award to this week. I added it. We've done it before, but I added it's the checked out award goes to Jimmy G. He's checked out. Every week I'm giving a new checked out award. Jimmy G, he was in the locker room texting by the end of the third quarter.
I'm gonna go with Jerry Jones on that one. I think he's
really?
I think he's looking at the team, and I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know if he wants to blow it up. I don't know at this point if he's going to give, I think we want to believe he's going to give Dak his contract eventually. But I mean, it also wouldn't shock me if he says, I'm not going to pay you, I'll go somewhere else. So I don't know at this point if but I think he's checked out of this year for sure.
Oh, cool. I didn't think of that. All right. Last award. This is a runoff between two cool coaches. The runoff is between Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin as the two coolest coaches in the NFL. Mike Tomlin goes for his mask. He goes with the neck gaiter, and he goes with the aviator sunglasses, and he never takes them off. He looks like a fighter pilot. So cool coach. And then Pete Carroll, they zoomed in on his shoes he was wearing today, and he has shoes painted that says "Coach the Vote." He goes running around in Coach the Vote shoes. Runoff between Pete Carroll and Mike Tomlin is the coolest coach.
To me, it's not a runoff. Mike Tomlin, when you're 7-0 and you're dressing like that, I love the aviators. I love the hat with the aviators. Maybe something for me to wear next week. Now that I lost the beard, I feel a little, naked here.
Oh yeah.
But I will definitely go. I think Mike Tomlin is the coolest cat on the block right now, and especially you're the coolest cat on the block when you're 7-0.
Yeah. Okay, fair point. Could win the runoff there based off of record alone.
Yep.
It's just so cool, Mike Tomlin. On to Monday night. Tampa Brady.
Tampa Bay?
Tampa Brady versus the New York Giants.
Guess
how much Tampa Bay is favored in this game, or do you already know?
I'm gonna throw a guess. Give me a guess. 13.5.
You're close. 12.
12.
Tampa Bay on the road giving 12 points. Vegas loves Tampa Bay in this matchup. Here's why I hate these games where they go against the team that has the horrible record. I just worry like Tampa Bay's going to win and Brady's going to get injured on a nonsense play. So we're like, why did this play have to happen? Why did he have to get sacked that way or get bumped out of bounds that way? That's why I would be hard to console if I'm a fan of Tampa Bay watching this throwaway game.
Do we even really have to? I mean, I'm on the fence if I'm even going to watch this game, or maybe it's going to be one of those games and I'm going to leave on, but I'm going to be doing some work late night, not just looking at the every now and then. I just don't seem. I just think this is going to be an ugly game, and I actually think Tampa is going to run up the score on them. So look for a blowout. This game is going to be nothing by 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
This is going to be an interesting comparison to see how ESPN hypes up this game. Just like NBC was like, the battle for the NFC East, first place on the line. But we all know they're bad teams. So it's interesting. ESPN is like, the Giants want to return to their former glory, or they're going to have to think of some angle to really talk up the New York Giants in this game. They're going to have to really, really dig. It's going to be kind of like, when you get dumped by a chick, but they do it in a nice way and they tell you you're a great guy. You're like, hey, if I'm so great, how come you don't want to spend one more minute with me? That's what ESPN is going to have to do. They're going to have to give the hot chick speech to the New York Giants.
Right. but it's going to be an ugly game. Look for Tom. I'm going to go Tampa Bay 37, the New York Giants 6.
20, 30, really? Total blowout.
That's a blowout.
Total blowout. They're definitely going to cover at that point. Yeah, Tampa Brady is going to win for sure. Let's go 27-10. Garbage time TD for the Giants at the end there.
Good for them.
Sunday night, week 8? We're halfway through the season.
Can you believe how fast does it even feel like we're in week 8?
It doesn't. It doesn't. It feels like we're just getting out of the block.
I think COVID and quarantining's got something to do with it. It doesn't feel right, but it is what it is, and we're shaping up for a special second half of the year.
Yeah, let's hope we have a great second half. Let's hope the election doesn't burn down the country, and we have a good second half of the season. Sunday night, Omar, thanks, man.
Thank you, Pat.
That is it for the Sunday Night Talk, everyone, for week 8. Woo, what a week! So much going on. We did it. Omar Carmona, myself, a lot was answered tonight. And new questions have arisen too. Coming up this week, it's going to be busy. More games, election, it's November. Get ready, just buckle up. We're going to be here. I want to thank everyone who listened. I want to thank Omar Carmona. I want to thank Tua's left hand and his dad. I want to thank New Orleans and Chicago for taking us to overtime. I want to thank NBC for hyping up a lackluster matchup. You got to do what you got to do, right? Thank you, everybody. See you next week.